Husband and wife pocket nearly $200,000 on swimming pools they never built. Village's Public Safety Department helps deliver a baby. A new development project will border the Villages on County Road 466A. Burglary suspect arrested after cutting through a lanai screen with a rock. A driver in the Villages was arrested twice in one day. A villager was arrested for biting her husband while going to Publix. How many holes was the golf will get this week? Letters to the editor, this and more coming up. Hello everybody, and thanks for coming back for another exciting episode of the Villages News Updated. A villager allegedly bit her husband after a brawl erupted during their early morning trip to Publix. The husband of 66-year-old Deborah Lynn Ring decided at about 6 a.m. Sunday that he would be leaving their house in the Villages of Wellpoint to go to the Publix grocery store at Magnolia Plaza. When Ring saw that her husband picked up his keys and was preparing to leave, she asked him, "Where were you going?" His reply was, "None of your business." That prompted her to get in the car. When they arrived at Publix, they found it hadn't opened yet, so they went to the UPS store to see if it was open. During the drive to the UPS store, the couple began to argue. Ring attempted to forcibly remove the car's key fob from her husband's hand. Her husband suffers from a medical condition and has paper-thin skin, and she grabbed for the keys. It caused the skin to tear. That had to hurt. The husband tried to take Ring's cell phone in order to photograph his injuries. They both got out of the car and continued to struggle for the control of the cell phone. I'm not laughing at all this, but can you picture all this in your mind? In a retirement community, Ring tripped over the sidewalk, causing her and her husband to fall to the pavement. While they were on the ground fighting over the phone, Ring bit her husband's forearm. The couple eventually got back in the car and returned to their home at 1884 Steiger Street. Police arrived at the home and took Ring into custody on a felony charge of battery. The Green Bay, Wisconsin native was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. She was released after posting a $100 bond. Silly fights over what? One would think that older people would know better. A suspected burglar was apprehended after using a stone to cut through a screen in the lanai and unlawfully entering a home in the Villages. Jean Truswicks, 49, was apparently attempting to steal a golf cart when she cut her way into the lanai in the wee hours Monday at a home on Victor Court in the village of Deluna near the Water Lily Recreation Center. Question: golf cart parked on a lanai? Am I missing something here? A homeowner had observed Truswicks trying to detach a trailer from a golf cart. She had used a sharp rock from the home's landscaping bed to cut through the lanai screen. When police arrived and took Truswicks into custody, she was in possession of the golf cart's key and a sickle-style tool, which she had admitted she had taken from the home. Truswicks was living with her parents in 2023 in the village of Pinellas and working at the Circle K at Trailwinds, and she was arrested for stealing Florida lottery tickets. She is now facing a charge of burglary and was being held at the Sumter County Detention Center on a $25,000 bond. That's gonna hurt. Oh, how many times have I preached and preached and preached about know who you're hiring? You know, you may have the friend that said this is a great company, and maybe it is. I don't know that it is, but do your own diligence. Check it out. Make sure you know. Here's a sad story right here. A husband and wife running a pool construction company allegedly pocketed nearly $200,000 from customers for swimming pools they never built. Troy Daniel Teams, 52, and his wife, Leah Ann Teams, 52, both from Outdoor, were arrested Thursday on warrants charging them with fraud. The couple has been accused of accepting money for 7 pools they never built in Sumter County. They were the owners of Staycation Pools and Service, LLC. Arrest reports from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office detailed the alleged fraud by the couple, who are well known in the Villages. In November 2022, a 65-year-old entered into a contract with Staycation and then agreed to a change order for the pool project. The customer issued a $23,590 down payment through Citizens Bank. When no work was performed, the customer sought a refund, but the teens did not respond. Another instance involved a Staycation customer who submitted an electronic deposit of $43,839 to the couple on February 27, 2023. The money was deducted from their Chase bank account. No work was performed, and the customer made numerous attempts to contact the teens, but they ceased all communication with the customer. Another customer put down a $25,433 deposit with Staycation on May 10, 2023. The money was deducted from their Bank of America account. No work was performed, and the teens did not return the couple's calls. The teams took a $25,881 deposit from a customer on May 30, 2023. Once they had the money, the team ceased communication and never began the pool project. The following day, another customer put down $29,651 toward a new swimming pool with Staycation through Citizens Bank. The teams stopped communication with the customer and never performed any work. A 66-year-old customer entered into a contract with a couple on July 23, 2023, and the customer put down a $21,922 deposit through Chain Bridge Bank. Despite numerous attempts to contact the teams, the customer never heard back from them, and the project was never started. On August 14, 2023, a customer issued a $27,855 deposit through Citizens Bank for a new pool through Staycation. Once again, the teams took the money but never started the pool. The couple was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. They were released after posting a $10,000 bond. Man, these judges around here in different counties are all different. The Sumter County judges here, I just don't get it. But you hear the reports. Be careful. I don't want you losing any money. Be careful. If you're going to hire somebody to clean your house because you're a snowbird or you're going to go on vacation, you want somebody to clean your house, be careful. We read these reports all the time. Or if you're going to hire somebody to babysit your dog, good Lord, be careful. Give it to a family member, a neighbor, somebody that you know ain't going to go anywhere. Things happen. I don't want to sound like I'm bad-mouthing everything, but I just know as this place gets bigger, these things are happening. Are they happening every day? No, they're not. I just want you to be careful. Here's some more possible new developments real close to the Villages, and I'll make my comments after all this is over. I haven't read it yet, so we'll see what it says. A new development on County Road 466A will share a border with the Villages. The Fruitland Park Planning and Zoning Board will be reviewing the Vida Serena proposed development during its December 18 meeting. The development, if ultimately approved by Fruitland Park Commissioners, would consist of 410 units with 155 single-family units on 40-foot lots, 101 single-family units on 50-foot lots, and 154 villa duplex units on 35-foot lots. The developer is seeking to have a single-family units approved as two-story homes. The property is located on the north side of County Road 466A and west of Micro Racetrack Road and will be composed of 4 parcels with a total acreage of 95.35 acres. 3 of those parcels will be annexed into the city of Fruitland Park, while one of the parcels is already in the city limits. The zoning requirements have a maximum density of 8 units per acre. However, the proposed gross density is 4.3 units per acre and will be limited to single-family homes and 2-family duplexes. The developer is seeking to rezone 95.35 acres, which is currently zoned as Lake County Agricultural and City General Commercial and City of Fruitland Park Planned Unit Development, and it's seeking that the future land use map designated be commercial high intensity and multifamily medium density, which is compatible with surrounding areas. It appears from the proposed annexation agreement that the property will have an entrance on Micro Racetrack Road and to its immediate east and to County Road 466A south of the development. May I say, Micro Racetrack Road is so busy. That's where the girl was hit and killed. They've been talking about redoing that road. They've been talking about adding to the road, putting in turn lanes because the traffic, especially when on that road, is horrendous. If the Planning and Zoning Board recommends approval approval, the development will be presented to the Fruitland Park Commission for the first reading of the proposed ordinance, as well as a public hearing at a later date in which the commission will decide if they are going to approve the zoning and annexation request, as well as amenities in the city's large-scale comprehensive development plan. Okay, here's my comments on this. Whether people build there or somewhere else, it's always around the villages, because the truth is, where the action is. This is where everybody wants to be, and the people around us that are buying that, they're not buying around us here, building around us here because the developer needs workers. That is a fallacy that started years ago, and at one point it might have been true. Today, that is not true. They want to be close to us. They like to be able to come into the squares, which is fine. They want to come in and eat at our restaurants and things like that, which is fine. And they like to be able to be in an area right here where property values increase almost every day, which is fine. The problem is the commissioners, all of them, Wildwood is the one here. They don't do a good job, I don't think, of preparing things before the development starts. Roads are always the last thing that they want to fix up. I know that's a whole nother department, but listen, somebody's got to get their head screwed on. The problem on Racetrack Road is traffic already. And now they're talking about adding all these houses right there off Racetrack Road. It just doesn't make sense to me to do that. They just need to start getting things in order to make life more reasonable, livable, where we can get around, do things, and not have wrecks everywhere. Because when traffic gets so bad in an area where the average person here is elderly, my God, it's just sometimes it's just impossible to go somewhere. And there's times where I just don't want to go. I don't trust them people out there on that road. They're nuts. I sold 2 motorcycles because I didn't trust anybody down here. I figured I'd die on it, so I got rid of them. I go over to my camper sometimes late in the afternoon after the so-called 5 o'clock rush. Think about this, retirement community and a 5 o'clock rush. And I'll stay over there to 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. So when I come home, I ain't got to deal with this traffic. This is what's happening. You should know this. That's the only reason why I'm saying it. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. Depends on where you come from. Where I come from, this traffic here is needs to be dealt with. So before they approve any building over there, and if you got to go because that area over there, going to the zoning board meetings and whatever, that'd be the questions that I would bring up. Not the stupid thing about water. Ask them about the traffic plan, the roads, widening, in and out, all this kind of stuff. And all these extra development around us does one thing for us. It makes the restaurants, especially in the winter, makes the restaurants more crowded, which is good for business, not good for if you live here. It makes the prices probably will go up because there's a bigger demand for our stuff. And, it's just longer wait lines to get into a restaurant. It's just what comes with the crowd. Now you know about a new development coming on County Road 466A. A hit-and-run driver was arrested after fleeing the scene of a crash in the Villages. A motorist had been traveling at about 2 p.m. Sunday on Buena Vista Boulevard at County Road 466A when she was rear-ended by another automobile, according to the arrest report from Sumter County Sheriff's Office. Both drivers initially indicated they would be pulling over, but the driver of the vehicle which caused the rear-end accident, a blue 2005 Florida F-150 pickup, fled the scene. The driver, whose vehicle had been struck, managed to take a photo of the Ford F-150 as it drove away, capturing the image of the license plate. The F-150 was spotted and pulled over on County Road 108 at US 301. The driver was identified as 36-year-old Stephanie Nicole Del Castillo of Ocala. A checker for driver's license revealed it had been suspended since 2023 for failure to pay traffic fines. Del Castillo was arrested on a felony charge of hit and run and a misdemeanor charge of driving while license suspended. She was also ticketed on a charge of following too closely. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $5,500 bond. A driver with a suspended license switched the license plate on his vehicle prior to his second traffic stop in the same day in the Villages. Raymond William Fletcher, 49 of Tampa, had been pulled over early Tuesday morning in a Nissan Altima and was issued a criminal citation for driving while license suspended. A short time later, another Wildwood police officer spotted the same vehicle being driven near the village of Water's Edge, but this time the vehicle had a South Carolina license plate, which it did not have during the first traffic stop. During the second traffic stop, the second officer confirmed that it was indeed Fletcher who was driving again. When asked for the driver's license, Fletcher pulled out a copy of the criminal citation issued to him earlier in the traffic stop. The officer confirmed that Fletcher's driver's license had been suspended since January. His Florida license plate, which had been on the vehicle during the first stop, had expired in July. Fletcher admitted he'd put the South Carolina plate on his car because he had planned to continue driving anyway. The officer found that the South Carolina license plate, which had expired in 2019, had been assigned to a Toyota. Fletcher was arrested on charges of driving while license suspended and attaching a license plate not assigned to a vehicle. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $300 bond. Now, these cops have got you on mine now. They know who you are because you said, which was kind of ignorant, you said because I intended to keep on driving anyway. So they know you're going to do it again. They're going to be looking for you. If I was you, I wouldn't do it. Let's have some more news. A villager who works as a veterinarian has been jailed after skipping a court date. Kristen Ann Mahoney, 55, who lives in the village of Finney, was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on Saturday night following her arrest on a warrant charging her with failure to appear. She was released after posting a $2,000 bond. Mahoney is a veterinarian at Paul's Animal Hospital at Laurel Manor Professional Plaza. She is a 2000 graduate of the University of Pennsylvania. She practiced in New York for 24 years before joining the Paws team in 2025. In her biography on Paws Animal Hospital webpage, Mahoney said, "Moved to the villages to enjoy the beautiful Florida weather. She has a special interest in oncology and internal medicine. She has a border collie named Juniper. In her free time, she enjoys spending time with Juniper, baking and crafting." So your dog likes to bake? I'm just joking. Oh, Lord. Well, I'm not going to say much about this because I don't know if you guys know or not. I talked about it on Patreon. I tell some stories of mine on Patreon because I don't think they go well on YouTube, but I'm not going to reach my goal on YouTube anyway, so I'm almost to the point of I don't care anymore. I got arrested once for the same reason. Well, let's see what our friendly neighbors next door to Stonecrest are doing. A Stonecrester was arrested after he went berserk when he was informed of a delay of a scheduled medical treatment. Well, I can kind of understand that. Robert John Rizzo, 74, who lives in the 55-plus community in Summerfield, went to an appointment Saturday at Premier Medical Associates Pain Management at 1511 Buenos Aires Boulevard in the Villages, according to the rush report of the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. You know, I hear more and more about this pain management thing, and it seems like it popped up about the same time the government started putting a lot of restrictions on doctors about handing out pain medications. Now all of a sudden you got to go to pain management. What does pain management do anyway? Rizzo became enraged because a piece of medical equipment was not working and his treatment could not be performed. The report noted that Rizzo had been contacted the previous day and was told the equipment was not working. Rizzo began following a staffer at the medical office demanding that he receive treatment. Look, dude, if the machine's not working, there's nothing they can do. You know, man-made machinery breaks. It's just a matter of time. He was irate, argued with staffers, and ordered his wife to take photos of personnel. One of the staffers raised her arm to cover her face when Rizzo's wife pointed the camera at her, prompting Rizzo to grab the woman's arm. That's assault. You can't touch anybody. Not nowadays. This is a whole different world. Not anymore. And forced it down. The Brooklyn, New York native was arrested on a charge of battery. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $1,000 bond. You're going to find out that our arrest and I'm just saying, I see he's from New York. I don't know where. Brooklyn, that's close to New York City. If you think we're going to have a no bond issue down here like you have up there in your communist city, it ain't happening here. Here's a couple of DUI stories, one of which, may I say, some people just never learn. A villager with a history of intoxicated behavior has landed back behind bars. Sheldon Scott Engstrom, 62, of the village of Hammock at Finney, was arrested Thursday on a warrant charging him with failure to appear. Engstrom had been scheduled to appear in Sumter County Court on Wednesday to answer to a charge of misusing 911 this past month. Remember that story? In that incident, Engstrom repeatedly called 911 from his home at 3813 Zedco Street. Officers were sent to Engstrom's residence and found him swaying back and forth and spotted a large bottle of Fireball cinnamon whiskey and a pill bottle on his kitchen counter. Engstrom began yelling at them. He used profane language and told the officers to leave. As soon as they left, he dialed 911 again. Engstrom was placed on probation after a 2023 golf cart road incident. Engstrom violated his probation when he was arrested in 2024 on a charge of driving under the influence. And he's in trouble again. A villager will lose his driver's license after overturning his golf cart. Todd Forrest Remy, 70, of the village of Finney, pleaded no contest this past week in Sumter County Court to a charge of driving under the influence. He will lose his driver's license for 6 months, has been placed on probation for 1 year, and has been ordered to perform 80 hours of community service. He was driving a brown Yamaha Drive 2 golf cart at about 10:15 p.m. October 8 in the area of Corbin Trail and Marsh Bend Trail, according to the arrest report from the Wildwood Police Department. He veered into a bush and yield sign and overturned his golf cart in an area of dense shrubbery. He was pinned under the golf cart, and the village's public safety department responded to the scene. As Remy was being checked out by the EMS personnel, a police officer noticed Remy was becoming belligerent to the point that the officer was forced to intervene. Remy had urinated and defecated on himself with obvious stains on his shorts and shirt. May I apologize to the EMS? 3 witnesses said they had seen the crash and identified Remy as the driver of the golf cart. An empty 9.2-ounce can of Jai Alai beer was found near the crash site. An unopened can of the same beverage was found in the golf cart. Remy was transported to a nearby medical facility. Upon his release, he was transported to the Sumter County Detention Center, where he provided breath samples that registered .205 and .211 blood alcohol content. Better give it up, young man. You can't handle it. I have an update for you from a report, I believe it was last week when SWAT came in and arrested that lady. You got that report from last week. If not, go last week, look for the police report, and you'll find it. A villager has entered a plea in court following a standoff last month at her home involving the SWAT team. Last month? Seemed like last week. Maybe it was last month. Jana Stefanski, 53, continues to be held without bond following the nearly 5-hour standoff November 20 at her home at 2186 Braxton Place in the village of Ashland. She appeared in Sumter County Court this week and entered a plea of not guilty in the case. Well, Stefanski had been embroiled in a legal battle with a renter who was paying $1,000 per month to live in a room in her home. The renter had been suddenly ordered to leave this past month. The renter had gone to court in an effort to recover her possessions, which were still in Stefanski's home. Well, we'll see how that turns out. She pleaded not guilty. Here's something you don't hear about in the villages very often, but it's good news, I think. The village's public safety department delivered a baby at a nearby apartment complex. A dispatcher received the pregnancy call shortly before 7 a.m. at the Lake Sumter Apartments on County Road 466 at Cherry Lake Road. Engine 41, Medic 41, and Medic 40 arrived on the scene where crews delivered a healthy baby girl. The mother and baby were transported to a nearby hospital for continuation of post-delivery care and evaluation. Well, good job, guys. Good job. And congratulations to the new mother. Take care of that baby. Okay, let's see how many holes in ones of golf do we get this week. Looks like 2. Looks like it's both ladies. Allison Tunnell of the village of Water's Edge got a hole-in-one on October 24 at the Mangrove Executive Golf Course. She scored the lucky ace at hole number 4 at 68 yards with a pitching wedge. She played her first round in July and got a hole-in-one already. Sometimes the world just ain't fair, you know? Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Allison. Hope you get many more. I know I'm going to screw this name up, but I'll do my best. Yami Melanie Wang of the village of Dabney got her first hole-in-one on Wednesday, November the 5 at hole number 9 at the Mickey Lee Pitch and Putt Golf Course using a 5 hybrid at 69 yards. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Yami. Okay, let's go to everybody's favorite letters to the editor. To the editor, I cannot believe how irresponsible, rude these how great thou art, ignoramus bad Parkers are. Who died and left them self-entitled? There ought to be deputized citizens that go around these parking lots and hand out $250 first offense tickets. The sheriff's office doesn't have time for ignorance. I'm telling you, if I couldn't get out of my vehicle because of that, they'd need a wrecker. I'm wheelchair bound. That's sent in by Peggy Pettit from the village of Piedmont. Peggy, I hear you. I'm not sure about the $250 fine there. I'm not really into all that politics, but I have said, and I'll say it again, I'll go on record because they don't like it, but I'm going to say it. That's something that they could actually, if the county wanted to, each county would have to do this. They could give parking ticket authority to our community watch guys. They're everywhere. They're always everywhere. And they see this parking before anybody else does. And I'm saying for at least the first few months, 6 months, maybe a year or something, when you see bad parking, they could just hand out warnings, put a warning ticket on the windshield, or if they see it in the postal areas, which that's where you see a lot of it is in the postal areas, they can just walk over and hand it to them. Now, people are going to be aggressive about that kind of thing, or some people will. And you say, well, in a nice way, look, this is a warning, just to let you know you're in a bad area, you're parked wrong, just try to do better next time, and then walk away. Just let them go. Just walk away. And then after about a year of this, and everybody knows what's happening, then start writing tickets. First offense, I don't know, $50. Second offense, 100, that way. And that would slow it down. Stop it? No, because remember, our streets are open to the public. When you see a car parked inside a postal station, that person may not live here. Are you going to say, well, what's he doing in the postal station? I don't know, but they may not live here. You go to any of the shopping centers inside the villages, any of the stores, any of the restaurants, and they're parked bad. That person may not even live here. So, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but yeah, I do agree with what you're saying here. Something's got to be done because I had a nephew that was wheelchair bound and they run into this problem all the time in Indiana, not here. And that is totally disrespectful when people play stupid. And that's all they're doing is playing stupid. Everybody's got a driver's license and knows. Striped area means no parking. There's no exception to that. Striped area means no parking. And me personally, you wouldn't want me to have that authority about tickets in handicap spots. Not me. Because I'd have no mercy. Thanks for the letter, though. I appreciate it. To the editor, the same woman involved in the attack on the Man of Spanish Plains Shopping Center came up to me about 6 months ago after I had lunch at First Watch. I suggested perhaps her church could help her. I've been scammed in the past and will not give these people money. Sometimes if I have a protein bar with me, I will give it to them. And that's sent in by Ann Flint from the village of Calumet Grove. What she's talking about, and I didn't really do much reporting on any of it because this is that time of year where certain things come back every year. One is the Romanian people. They're rip-off artists. We used to call them gypsies. They come down here about this time of year and they start doing all kinds of work to get tax-free money. They want you to pay them in cash. They say they'll paint your house. They do a crappy job. Do they paint it? Most cases, yes, but it is a crappy job and they done got your money. I don't know where all these panhandlers come from either, but they use all kinds of gimmicks. They'll show up with a baby in a stroller and say they need help with diapers and stuff like that. Well, all of us are very sympathetic to the baby. We've all had kids, grandkids. So we see that, we go like, oh man, I got to give them something to help that baby out. It's a scam. All that is a prop, just like on a stage or in the movies. That baby's a prop to get you to open up your purse. And the only way to get these panhandlers to leave us alone is, and you're going to hate me for saying this, but I'm just going to say it, quit giving them money. Don't give them anything. Don't give them a hamburger. Don't give them any money. Don't give them anything. Just ignore every one of them, because if they're here all day long and they can't collect any money, guess what? They're going to go somewhere else and try to get this money. So just don't. That's my answer to all this. But thanks for the letter. I appreciate it. To the editor, I have lived here over 15 years. I'm in my second home. We are no longer Florida's friendliest hometown. Too many new people that are rude, arrogant, and entitled. That's sent in by Ray Liberty from the village of Hemingway. Well, Ray, in some ways I agree with everything you say. I can't say it's the new people that's acting this way, and a lot of it I think it's the old people acting the same way. Not near as much or whatever, but new people have their attitudes. They still got their energy. Old people, like me, we've lost a lot of our energy, and so we just don't have the energy to argue about it anymore. But yeah, the idea of this being Florida's friendliest hometown, you realize nobody gave that name to Florida. This is something the developer and his family came up with as a promotion of the Villages to sell more homes. It's nothing that was handed to us. I have always been kind of made fun of it when they say Florida's friendliest hometown. Well, unless you lived in every town in Florida, how would you know? That's what I'm saying. Thanks for a letter. I appreciate it. You got any letters to the editor? Write them in. Well, I think that's going to be the news for this week. I appreciate each and every one of you for showing up. And as always, I dedicate my news to my Patreon and my YouTube members, because without them, I'm not sure I'd even do this. Alongside of me popping up here, or down the sides here, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Those are my sponsors that I have right now. And if you can, support them. One of my sponsors sets up cruises. If you're interested, give them a call. Numbers there. I bet the people, they're great. So talk to them, and they can give you prices of where, when, how long, and so on and so forth. Another one is Ira Miller. He sponsors my channel. He's a good friend of mine. I like Ira. He's as honest as day is long. He's one of the realtors that we do recommend because we know Ira, we know how he is, and you're not going to have a problem with Ira. I'm not going to recommend anybody that I don't know or haven't done business with because I don't know them other people. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them. I don't know them, so I'm not going to recommend them. Ira, I've done business with before. He's a good guy. I've sent people to him. He does a good job, and that's who I'd recommend if you're wanting to buy a pre-owned home here. Our weather here this week has kind of cooled down compared to you guys. Maybe cooling doesn't mean anything, but to us, when it gets down in the 50s at night, we're chilly. And that's where we've been for a couple, 3 nights now. And with that, I just want to say happy birthday to Judy P. She had a birthday dinner a couple weeks ago. We all went there. Linda did the birthday dinner. Linda did a super fantastic job. I just feel like I got to say thank you to everybody. I didn't really help out much. I just showed up, really. Linda set it up. We had a Japanese, I'll say an original type Japanese dinner. It was great. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed the experience. All the girls were dressed up in kimonos. I guess that's what you call them. I don't even know what a kimono is. I don't even know where they come from. I'm assuming Linda had them. I don't know. But they all had kimonos on. We had a big birthday cake for Judy, and Linda did most of the cooking, Japanese style, chopsticks, everything's in the table. If you're on Patreon, you've seen the video. I did the best video I could, and I put it on Patreon. I think I put it on Patreon. Maybe I haven't edited it yet, but I will. And I'll put it on YouTube members also. It was just fantastic. I don't think anybody there had a bad time. We talked a lot, laughed a lot. Poor Linda, she just kept cooking a lot. Jose was there. He was giving everybody coffee lessons on how to make particular coffees. Sue's brother was there, and I don't know what him and Jose were talking about, but they were over there talking coffee. That's all I can tell you. But it was great. We had a good time. Thank you, Linda, for opening up your home once again and doing that for us, because we had a wonderful time. I did, especially. So with that being said, I know you guys hate this. You think it's, I know you get tired of hearing that, but it really helps the channel. If you enjoy this news or any of my videos that I do, subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps in the analytics. Leave a comment below. There's a thumbs up button you can just click. I know it's all a pain in the butt. I got to do it too. I've subscribed to a lot of channels, and I have to remember to do that myself. Put a comment, hit a thumbs up. I think Wrestlermania put out a couple of videos this week. I haven't been there yet, but I got to go there, and I leave a comment, a thumbs up. I always do. You have to. That's what helps the channels. And if you haven't been to WrestlerMania's channel, go there. A lot of travel videos is on there, and he does some product reviews on there. So if you go there, you get an idea on some things, prices and what they are and all this and that. Thanks to everybody for doing all that. And I'm going to get out of here once again and say the weather's great. You're great. All my sponsors are wonderful. And the birthday party was super fantastic. It was just awesome for me. So with that, I'm just going to say, be well, take care, be aware, and don't leave your key in that golf cart. This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members.